You've seen them everywhere, those little plug-in devices that promise to keep mosquitoes, cockroaches, mice, and every other pest out of your home, silently, chemically free, just by emitting a sound you can't even hear. They're cheap, they look clean, and the packaging makes them sound like something out of a sci-fi movie. So you buy one, plug it in, and wait. But do they actually do anything? Because the honest answer to that question is something most people who sell these products really don't want you to know. Let's get into it. First, let's understand what these devices actually claim to do. An ultrasonic pest repeller is a small electronic device, usually plug-in, sometimes battery-operated, that emits high-frequency sound waves. The frequencies they use typically range from around 15,000 to 65,000 Hz. For reference, normal human hearing maxes out at around 20,000 Hz. So you can't hear what these devices are putting out. The idea behind them is that these sound frequencies are deeply unpleasant or disorienting to pests, mosquitoes, rodents, cockroaches, and cause them to avoid the area. That's the pitch. It sounds scientifically plausible on the surface. Sound is real. High frequencies are real. The question is whether any of that actually translates into fewer pests in your home. Let's start with mosquitoes specifically, since that's what a lot of people buy these for. Here's what the science actually says. Mosquitoes do have the ability to detect certain sounds, but the sounds they're tuned into are very specific. They're most sensitive to frequencies around 400 to 500 Hz, which is roughly the frequency of their own wing beats. That's how mosquitoes find each other for mating, by detecting the sound of another mosquito flying. The ultrasonic frequencies these devices emit, 15,000 to 65,000 Hz, are so far outside the range that matters to mosquitoes that there's essentially no meaningful signal reaching them. A 2007 study published in the Journal of Vector Ecology tested ultrasonic devices specifically against mosquitoes across multiple trials and found zero measurable reduction in mosquito biting behavior. The conclusion from the researchers was direct. These devices don't work against mosquitoes. The CDC, which is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the United States, has explicitly stated that ultrasonic products are not effective at preventing mosquito bites. These aren't fringe opinions, they're the scientific and public health consensus. What about other pests? Rodents like mice and rats can actually hear in the ultrasonic range, so the basic idea isn't completely without biological basis for them. Some early studies did show that mice reacted to ultrasonic frequencies. However, the follow-up research revealed a critical problem: habituation. Rodents exposed to ultrasonic sound in a real-world environment quickly get used to it. They figure out the sound isn't actually dangerous, and they go right back to nesting, eating, and moving through the space as normal. Any initial reaction is short-lived, usually within days. Studies from Kansas State University and other institutions tested commercially available devices in homes and found that they produced no significant long-term reduction in rodent activity. So even in the pest category, where the idea had the most biological logic behind it, the devices still fail in practice. For cockroaches and ants, it's even weaker. Research has consistently found no meaningful repellent effect on these insects from ultrasonic devices. A comprehensive review of the scientific literature published in the Journal of Economic Entomology concluded that ultrasonic devices are not effective against any common household insect pest. Studies on cockroaches showed they continued to feed, move, and reproduce normally, even when ultrasonic devices were actively running in the same space. Now here's the part that explains why these products are still everywhere on the shelves and online. The marketing around them is very carefully worded. In the United States, the Federal Trade Commission, the agency that regulates consumer advertising, has sent warning letters to more than 60 manufacturers of these devices, stating that effectiveness claims must be backed by solid scientific evidence. Between 1985 and 2002, the FTC brought law enforcement actions against multiple companies for making false and unsubstantiated claims about these products. One well-known case involved a company whose electronic mosquito repeller claimed to protect users from mosquito bites and even prevent mosquito-borne illness. The FTC alleged those claims were simply false, and yet the products kept selling. Why? Because manufacturers learned to use vague language. Instead of saying kills mosquitoes or repels cockroaches in a way that would trigger regulatory scrutiny, they use softer phrases like pest management, creates an uncomfortable environment, or area deterrent. These phrases are slippery enough to stay just within legal bounds while still creating the impression that the product does something meaningful. It's not that the products are dangerous. They're safe for humans and pets. It's that they're largely just expensive nightlights. There's also something called confirmation bias that helps these products survive on the market. If you plug in one of these devices and there happen to be fewer mosquitoes in your room over the next few weeks, you credit the device. But mosquito populations naturally fluctuate with temperature, rainfall, and season. That decline probably would have happened anyway. The device gets the credit for a coincidence, and you leave a 5-star review. So what does actually work? For mosquitoes, the repellents that have been rigorously tested and consistently proven effective are those containing DEET, picaridin, IR3535, or oil of lemon eucalyptus. These are registered with the EPA and CDC as proven mosquito repellents. Eliminating standing water around your home is also one of the single most effective steps you can take, because that's where mosquitoes breed. Flower pot trays, buckets, clogged gutters, anything that holds still water. For rodents, physical exclusion is the most effective method, sealing gaps, cracks, and entry points in your walls and foundation. Traps, both snap traps and live traps, have a strong track record. For cockroaches, bait gels and boric acid treatments have solid scientific backing. None of these solutions are as appealing as a plug-in device that does everything for you automatically, but they actually work. It's also worth saying that if you're buying ultrasonic devices specifically because you want to avoid chemical products, maybe because of children, pets, or personal preference, that instinct is understandable. But the alternative to chemical pest control is not an ultrasonic emitter. It's integrated pest management. Sealing entry points, removing food and water sources that attract pests, using physical traps, and maintaining cleanliness. These methods are genuinely effective and genuinely chemical-free. So let's wrap up with a clear summary. Ultrasonic pest repellers emit high-frequency sounds that humans can't hear and claim to repel mosquitoes, cockroaches, and rodents. For mosquitoes, the frequencies these devices use are completely outside the range that affects mosquito behavior. Multiple peer-reviewed studies and both the CDC and FTC have confirmed they don't work. For rodents, there might be a momentary reaction, but pests habituate quickly and return. For cockroaches and insects in general, the scientific consensus is that there is no measurable repellent effect. The devices are safe, but the evidence for their effectiveness simply isn't there. The reason they're still sold is a combination of vague marketing language, confirmation bias, and the fact that consumers want simple solutions to frustrating problems. Save your money, eliminate standing water, use a proven repellent when you go outside, and seal any gaps where pests can get in. That combination will do more than any plug-in device on the market. If this video helped you, the next one covers which mosquito repellents are actually worth using and how to compare them. It's linked on screen now. Subscribe if you want more honest breakdowns like this, and drop a comment below if there's another product or gadget you've always wondered whether it actually works. See you in the next one.